Hey, man, I am really, really tired. I got a dog on my lap though, which is great. I'm very energy boosting. Man, I can't quite like broadly summarize. If I were going to try, it would be like the weeks at the minute are very um busy and densely compacted. Uh, like every single day feels like it could be kind of like a week's worth of work, which I'm not complaining about at all. But I am acknowledging how fucking exhausting that is. I'm undergoing this like very, very significant fusion, which is basically between the hosts. I don't know if I should say line or subsystem, but like the hosts and Kairi, although that feels like referring to myself in third person now because that's so weird. It's like I'm thinking and remembering from being both people, but it's not fluid. It's like it's still a bit one side or the other. Like I'm remembering half of me or I'm remembering the other half of me. And they kind of go off in different directions inside of me and it's like whereas I can feel in other fusions we've had, it's like it becomes a lot more amorphous and like a lot more like like fluid, I guess, and like I kind of feel like all parts of me at all times with a bit of a mix of which traits I'll find where, or like all simultaneously there in their own ways, um, balancing each other and mixing and stuff. And it's like, whereas this is a bit mechanical feeling still, but it is getting better. Do you know what like man, there's so much about fusing that's like really fucking trippy. Like so much. I noticed that it's really, really, really fucking around with like the denial defense that I've got in the host line. That is really strong. So it's like, oh my god. A lot of it at the minute is receiving memories from the half of me. Since I use the name Kyrie for all of me, I'm gonna term this as like the protector side of me and the host side of me, I guess. So like I will suddenly have memories from the protector side of me come up and be like, whoa, that's fucking intense. And suddenly, like, I'm not just remembering it in like disconnected sensory information, like a bit of picture and then maybe a flash of audio, and like I'm getting the whole thing at once. And I'm like, oh shit, that's really a real memory. And it's very tangible and very like it can like send me into panic attacks and there's a lot of grounding and like breathing through it and sort of making sure to like we've been pretty good on panic attacks lately actually, which is cool. Rather like I feel them start and I remember to breathe and like maybe run my hand under the cold water and stuff, and it helps a lot. But when it hits like the denial defense in the other half of me, what's been happening is like I'll get a memory from that side, and it'll be like too close to the trauma, too undeniable of the trauma, too like, too like undeniable proof, I guess. And the host line of me will be like, oh wow, we fully made up so much shit. Like, look at how active our imagination is. But that would be enough to split us a bit. Like, I don't know if it'd be enough to totally, because at first it was enough to just totally split us and we'd have to keep trying again. And there was a lot of like holding ourselves together slash in the front with each other for a long time. But now it seems like it just blurs us out and like seems to put distance between us. So a lot of this week has been, hey, you might get a cameo appearance from Bramble. Oh, woo, what a pretty puppy. And so a lot of it has of this last, whoa god, what is time, week, 2 weeks, I'm not really sure, the last, this has been like a lot of what's being worked on, like approaching and receiving memories and thoughts and traits and information, because that's another thing, is like I'll have a response to something and be like, well, why would I have that response to that? And you'll work it out from the symptoms and be like, oh well, that can only lead to this being the reason. And it's kind of like when you work it out like that and you see that it has a logic, that's what I mean by like it's undeniable. It's just like, ah, shit, I see how that would get in there. So it's, oh no, I splurged myself. Give me a sec, I can get it back. So then being able to, oh, do exactly this, and like not, like, oh, it's such a weird mix. Like acknowledge my emotional reaction basically, but like, whoa, that was fucking intense as a memory, and usually that's fucking awful, and being like, yeah, that's horrific. And at the same time, like reminding myself that it, as a way to protect me from how horrific that memory is, my brain might be prompted to try to find reasons why that couldn't or didn't happen now, and it might sort of try to blur out the memory a bit. Like it can develop this sort of like fuzzy la la la, that didn't happen, everything's a dream sort of feel to it, and then the memory just kind of goes past and you don't question it. It's like, it's really weird. So there's a lot of like acknowledging the emotional awfulness first and breathing and being like, as a protective measure, my brain might be tempted to do this, but I want to understand, you know, it, I want to sit with my emotions, with all parts of me. And I want us to be able to learn how to be functional and relaxed in the here and now. Oh, good dog. And that involves sitting with emotions that are sometimes uncomfortable and sometimes painful and sometimes agonizing and usually terrifying, but like nothing we can't handle. And sort of validating both sides without one side pushing back too far on the other side protectively is like a really strange balancing act. Like, I have a lot more of a tendency to experience self-doubt. I think between these two lines in the fusion, so something just, it's a lot more difficult to like want to record this video, say, or think that what I'm saying could be relevant or helpful to anyone. It's like, or my emotional response to admitting that is like much more, oh god, I should look functional and capable and normal. But it's like I feel it a lot more. I feel a lot more sort of, it's like I feel a more density to all of my emotions. Like they're able to be accessed on layers that I didn't quite have before. But usually, if we just keep doing what we're doing and keep going, in like a good half of me's memories, that does help. So mostly at the minute, man, just focusing on our fusions. Like as well as I sort of invited all parts of me in all ages to join if they wanted, and my entire subsystem is sort of like feels like feels like for years it's been like, you know how you do the paper chain snowman thing or stickman thing, feels like it's been like tracing paper of like that, and we're trying to just put them all into a much more two-dimensional, three-dimensional sort of like physical multifaceted form. I'm trying to be very conscious of not making any part or any age of me feel rushed. There's been a lot of discussions about like at every moment how, you know, people can, parts can stay whatever age they want for however long, but it seems like it's kind of like naturally it's interesting. It's like it's like I feel sometimes a lot more like the person I was when I was 6, but having grown up into 16. And also, I'm a lot more able to engage with things playfully and curiously, in a sort of playful and curious manner, which is really fucking helpful for healing generally. And there's like a lot of focus on trying to find where the value offered to us from young parts is, rather than allowing like rather than only seeing value in younger parts who are able to be more adult, which is a tendency that we don't really notice. Oh god, I'm so tired. And it's really weird because it's like feels like there's still amnesia between some parts of me in some ages, but not like I'll feel like me at all points, but like I really recognize traits from when I was a certain age appearing more often and be like, oh, that's cool, that's neat, and without like memory blanking between, because before I think I was just switching through my subsystem without noticing. So there was like I just had no memory of the conversation or like follow of conversation or what I was thinking or anything. So it's like I like it. I'm a bit like I feel a little bit all over the place, and um, as if it's a challenge to slow down. So I think working on just slowing everything down and making sure that all parts of me feel safe in the present moment and welcome, I guess, is pretty much what I'm going to be working on. And so it's like this man, because man, no wonder I'm fucking tired. Jesus shit. It's like fusing this way and that way at the same time. There's so much in my brain some days that I feel like my brain is going to explode. But I also love it. Like, just this sense of like like when you have a friend you like coming over to stay and you're like, ah, yay, the presence of this other person. It's like I can feel the excitement and the presence of myself, and it's like this wholeness and this like complete sort of meanness that I haven't really had before. So it's like it's I've got lots of headaches as well, like fucking ton on just mostly through that bit. I don't know why or if it's relevant, but just mostly through the front right of my head. It's been fucking killing. And it's like it's a lot more. There's a lot more in me, and I don't know what to do with that yet. But I love it, and I will learn how to like meet all of me's needs and exist in a in a like cooperative way, I guess, with myself, empathic way with myself. It's so like it's a lot right now, like, and it's all very messy and like diametrically opposed. Like there's I spend a lot of time journaling stuff like two completely opposing ideals can fit within one person at one time, and like there's a lot of thoughts and traits and emotions that will offset each other, and we have to find some equilibrium and understanding of how they both sit there and exist at once. And sometimes there is no understanding and they just sit there and exist at once and they just do. And it feels like my idea, the parameters of me and my understanding of who I am and who I can be are widening around all of these concepts rather than these concepts sort of squeezing into me, which was how it felt at first. And it does kind of feel like two massive glaciers like pushing together in my brain sometimes, and like the creaking of ice as they press, but fresh. But I'm also expecting the line that separates them seems like it's like undoing, like like cracking, but like anti-cracking from from like sealing. There we go, anti-cracking, resealing from like the top, and it's like can really feel it doing it. And it seems to be every time we approach topics that we both hold very different memories and views on, and then working to see them both existing, then it'll like both halves of me being able to mix, I guess, the views and traits and concepts without them sort of exploding off one another. with some sort of like, well, that can't be true, that's not safe, or some sort of like, no, reality's only like this. And like there's a lot of reminding ourselves that the polarized viewpoints and the like extreme emotional reaction to having these memories or seeing these traits in each other is also born of trauma, and like a lot of reminding each other that it was really useful to have these defenses at one time, and now we don't really need them to be safe. We're safe anyway. So it's a lot of like, and I'm exhausted. Again, I'm so fucking tired. Okay, this is it. This can do, because I'm just so fucking tired.